Welcome to Never Too Late.
Great to be diving in again.
So today we're talking about something, well, fundamental, breathing. Specifically, we've been looking at James Nestor's book, Breath, The New Science of a Lost Art.
Right. And it's fascinating stuff, the idea that we've sort of forgotten how to breathe properly and what that actually does to us.
Exactly. It's kind of mind-blowing that something so automatic could go wrong. So our mission today is pretty simple. Pull out some straightforward tips from the book that you can use, like, right away.
Yeah, actionable things, because the book goes deep, but there are definitely some core ideas that are easy to grasp and try out.
Okay, so let's jump in. One of the biggest points Nestor makes right off the bat is about nasal breathing versus mouth breathing.
Huge point. Yeah. Basically, the nose is built for breathing. It filters, it warms, it humidifies the air, it does all this prep work.
And the book says it actually helps us get more oxygen, like significantly more.
Yeah, something like 20% more oxygen compared to breathing through your mouth, which is, well, it's a lot when you think about it accumulating over a day.
20%. Wow. And Nestor didn't just theorize, did he? He actually blocked his own nose.
He did. Him and a colleague. For 10 days, they forced themselves to breathe only through their mouths.
Yeah, what happened? Must have felt awful.
Oh, it sounded pretty rough. Blood pressure went up, sleep quality plummeted, heart rate variability got worse, felt stressed, tired. The works.
Yikes.
But the key thing, as soon as they went back to nasal breathing, all those negative effects started reversing quickly.
That's a pretty stark demonstration. It makes sense, though. You look at other mammals.
Exactly. Most are obligate nose breathers. It's like our default setting for a reason. The nose is our first line of defense, kind of like a shell for sea creatures, filtering out junk.
And there's that bit about nitric oxide, too.
Right. Breathing through your nose naturally boosts nitric oxide, and that gas is crucial. Helps blood vessels relax, improves circulation, gets oxygen delivered more efficiently. Mouth breathing just bypasses all that.
Plus the dental stuff. I remember reading that dentists are linking mouth breathing to, like, gum disease and bad breath.
Yeah, because it dries out the mouth, changes the microbiome. It's not good. And this isn't some new discovery either. Nestor points out that ancient traditions, Chinese, Indian, Native American cultures, they all emphasize breathing through the nose.
Okay, I'm convinced on the nose breathing. But what about exercise? You always see athletes gulping air through their mouths.
Well, it's the common image, yeah. But Nestor cites studies suggesting that even for athletes, especially in endurance stuff, nasal breathing can be more efficient. Better oxygen utilization.
Huh. So maybe not gasping for air like a fish out of water is better?
Potentially, yeah. It takes practice for sure. So the first big tip really is make a conscious effort. Breathe through your nose whenever you can. Daytime, nighttime.
And he mentions taping the mouth shut at night. Gently, of course.
Yeah, using a bit of specific mouth tape. It sounds weird, but it just encourages the lips to stay closed, promoting nasal breathing while you sleep. Can help with snoring, maybe even sleep apnea for some. It's sort of the same principle as a CPAP machine, in a way keeping the airway working properly via the nose.
Okay, so tip #1, nose breathing.
Yeah.
Got it. What's the next big idea from breath?
Slowing it down. The pace of our breathing matters a lot.
How so?
Well, think about when you're stressed or anxious. Your breathing gets fast and shallow, right?
Yeah, definitely.
That sends signals up to your brain basically saying panic, danger.
Mm-hmm.
And interestingly, about 80% of the signals between the body and brain actually go from the body to the brain. So our breathing pattern is constantly telling our brain how we're doing.
So shallow, fast breathing keeps us locked in that stress state.
Exactly. But the flip side is we can consciously change our breathing to send calming signals instead. By deliberately slowing down our breaths, we can tap into the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest system.
Okay, that makes sense. How do we do that? Is there a specific technique?
One simple way the book mentions is focusing on the exhale. Try inhaling for, say, a count of 3, and then exhaling for longer, maybe 6 or even 8 counts. That longer exhale really helps trigger relaxation.
Inhale 3, exhale 6 to 8. Easy enough to try.
Yeah, you can do it anywhere. Another one is called coherent breathing. This is breathing at a very specific, steady rhythm, roughly 5 to 6 seconds in and 5 to 6 seconds out.
5.5 seconds in, 5.5 out. I think I've heard of that.
Yeah, around that mark. Apparently, it synchronizes your heart, lungs, and brain. Doctors like Richard Brown use it for anxiety, PTSD, even some lung issues. The key, Nestor says, is it should feel effortless, not forced.
Effortless calm sounds good. What about the ujjayi breath from yoga? Does that fit in?
It does. That slight constriction at the back of the throat. Nestor suggests adding that to slow rhythmic breathing can enhance the calming effect, possibly by increasing CO2 slightly, which helps blood flow.
And things like 4-8-8 breathing. Inhale 4, hold 8, exhale 8.
Yep, that's mentioned too, as another variation. It's all about finding these slow, controlled patterns to calm the nervous system down. So, tip #2, slow your breathing down, maybe focus on longer exhales, or try that balanced 5-6 second rhythm.
Okay, nose breathing, slow breathing. What else is critical?
Lung capacity. This was a big one for me. Nestor cites research showing lung capacity is a major predictor of longevity, like surprisingly major.
More than diet or genes, even.
In some studies, yeah, it's a really strong marker for overall health and lifespan.
Wow. Okay, so how do we keep our lungs big?
Well, capacity naturally tends to decline after our mid-30s or so. But the good news is how we breathe affects it. Slow, deep, diaphragmatic breaths using your whole lungs helps maintain elasticity and efficiency.
So conscious deep breathing helps preserve lung function.
Seems so, and regular exercise, even just walking, helps maintain lung volume and strength. And Nestor links this back to original yoga practices, too. Pranayama wasn't just about holding poses, it was very focused on breath control to fully inflate and deflate the lungs.
Right, expanding the whole system.
Exactly. So tip #3 is about maintaining that lung capacity through conscious, full breathing and staying active. Don't let them shrink.
Got it. Nose, slow, full lungs. What's number 4? This one sounds a bit weird. Breathe less.
Yeah, it sounds completely backward, doesn't it? But Nestor argues many of us chronically overbreathe. We take in too much air too quickly and blow off too much carbon dioxide.
But isn't CO2 the waste gas we want to get rid of?
It is, but we need a certain amount of it. CO2 actually helps release oxygen from our hemoglobin into our tissues. If levels are too low from overbreathing, oxygen delivery can actually become less efficient. Plus, low CO2 can make us feel anxious.
Huh. So breathing less helps keep CO2 in balance.
That's the idea. Increasing your tolerance to CO2 by breathing a bit less or doing gentle breath holds can apparently calm the nervous system and might even boost athletic performance for some. Oxygen levels don't really drop dangerously low for quite a while during a gentle hold.
Interesting. So how do we practice breathing less without feeling like we're suffocating?
A key part is focusing on the exhale, really emptying the lungs completely. When you exhale fully, the next inhale naturally becomes deeper and more efficient, often slower, and making sure you're breathing from the belly, not just the chest.
Right, the diaphragm. Stomach should move out when you inhale.
Exactly. Chest breathing is shallow, less efficient, stresses the neck and shoulders. And again, this isn't totally new. Nestor mentions ancient yogis, Tibetan monks, even samurai who tested readiness by seeing if breath moved a feather under the nose. They all valued minimal, efficient breathing.
So minimal movement was key.
Right. For a balanced, restorative breath, that 5.5 seconds in, 5.5 seconds out rhythm comes up again. It's about efficiency, not volume for volume's sake. So, tip, #4. Breathe less, focus on full exhales, and use that diaphragm.
Okay, this is a lot to rethink. One last thing that really stood out was chewing. How on earth does chewing relate to breathing?
It's a fascinating connection. Basically, our modern diets are really soft compared to what our ancestors ate. Less tough stuff, more processed food.
So we chew less.
Way less. And less chewing means less work for our jaw and facial muscles and bones. Over generations, Nestor argues, this has led to smaller jaws, smaller mouths, and narrower airways.
Which leads to breathing problems.
Yeah, things like crowded teeth, a higher likelihood of snoring, sleep apnea. It's all potentially linked back to underdeveloped facial structures because we just don't chew enough hard stuff anymore.
Wow. Can anything be done about that now as adults?
The book suggests yes, to some extent. Facial bones can still remodel, even in adulthood. Actively chewing more tougher foods, or even chewing gum, especially hard mastic gum, can strengthen those muscles and potentially help maintain or even slightly widen the airways.
So chew your food properly.
Correct.
Or maybe take up chewing gum.
It's something to consider, yeah. It's about exercising those facial structures. Yeah. So tip #5. Think about chewing. More robust chewing might support better airway health down the line.
Incredible. Okay, let's quickly run through those again. Tip 1, breathe through your nose whenever possible.
Right. Filter, warm, moisten, get more oxygen, boost nitric oxide.
Tip 2, slow your breathing down. Focus on longer exhales or that 5-6 second rhythm.
Yep. Calm the nervous system. Tell your brain everything's okay.
Tip 3, maintain lung capacity. Breathe fully. Use your diaphragm. Stay active.
Keep those lungs elastic and efficient is linked to longevity.
Tip 4. Breathe less, but better. Focus on full exhales. Tolerate a bit more CO2.
Improve oxygen delivery. Potentially calm the body. Breathe low and slow.
And tip 5. Chew more. Exercise those facial muscles for potentially better airways.
A surprising link, but potentially important for structure.
It really makes you realize breathing isn't just breathing. There's so much going on.
Absolutely. And these are mostly small adjustments, things you can try today. They don't cost anything. But the potential impact on how you feel, your energy, your stress levels, it could be significant. Nestor's book obviously covers way more. The history, the deeper science.
For sure, this is just scratching the surface, but it's a great starting point. So maybe the question for you listening is, just notice your breaths right now. Is it through your nose? Is it fast? Is it shallow? What's one little thing you could tweak today? It's definitely never too late to pay attention to your breath.